Today I'm sitting down with Crystal and Aaron discussing a large multi-territory franchise that our agency is mapping and connecting several digital properties, assets, and APIs to compile marketing reports, automation, CRM integrations, and much more. As an agency, with the accelerated adoption of AI and automation, we've seen some significant pain points with new clients as we onboard them. And so what I kind of like to discuss today is some of the pain points these new clients are having when it comes to gaining control of these assets. Very specifically, today we'll talk about the challenges that we faced as an agency, gaining control of several Meta accounts, Google business profiles, and even the process that is new, which is the A2P 10 DLC registration that's mandatory for businesses now when it comes to text messaging and marketing. And first, I'd like to start off with you, being that you handle probably the most elusive platform we here at the agency handle, which is Meta. When it came to this particular client, we were tasked of taking control of all the local territory social media platforms and then getting them under management of a single master admin account. Understanding that, talk to me about the wide variety of ways you saw accounts were specifically, in this case, set up, and what you would recommend that business owners and leaderships do to prepare when it comes to moving towards a centralized management and implementing a marketing automation or perhaps an AI strategy.
The first step for any business looking to go into marketing automation or AI or just get their business organized correctly is basically something called Meta Business Suite. That's kind of a umbrella platform within Meta that you can hold and own all your assets. And so it's important when it comes to like ad accounts, posting, content creation, and just a general sense of ownership. In this particular case, there was around like 80 plus different assets, Facebook assets, pages, and Instagram accounts that were kind of spread out amongst a bunch of different profiles within companies, past people and current people. So the big challenge there was to gain access to those accounts and put them under, like you said, a master Meta Business Suite. And like that's the first step, is basically a Meta Business Suite. Essentially, you have one Facebook profile account to every living individual is kind of Facebook's policy. So that kind of like makes things a little bit tricky when it comes to business management, because it'll be under basically the profile you share your pet photos to, but also your company. So that can just get kind of hard when it comes to such a mass amount of assets, basically. First step is just to identify all your assets, all your Facebook pages, your Instagram accounts, your ad accounts, and have one centralized master Meta Business Suite. And that's pretty much what we did in this case. I would suggest any business owner right now to kind of take a look at their Facebook. Do you have a Meta Business Suite? Do you know what that is? It's just one of the most important things for your internet presence as a business these days. Every business, regardless of size, should really organize their business within the Meta Business Suite, because if you don't have it, you risk loss of access, or if there was an employee that now there's a past employee, you cut contact, then and there goes your Facebook page. So it's really important for every business owner to really take a look at their structure and their access levels.
I think that's one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of these businesses, especially as we've started integrating more of these Meta, these Facebook and Instagram accounts, is that the business owner at some point in time was like, oh, I need to have that as a digital asset for my company. And so what they did is they tasked somebody in their company to create the Facebook or Instagram page, not understanding that was tied to that person's personal profile, and that person may be gone now for several years. And so oftentimes these business owners are having to reach out to these former employees, or we're having to open up very long wait timed support tickets with Meta to prove this, which takes a lot of time and energy to do that. So I agree that that's very important, that a business owner really understands who is the master owner of those business accounts, because those belong to their business, and who has control and access to those, and do they have the appropriate level of access and control.
The different levels of access too is like important, because there's different technical stuff where you have full control, you have page control. So like when you do have a Meta Business portfolio set up, you can have way more control over like who has the capabilities to work on your pages and who doesn't. And that was really important in this particular case because it was 80 plus assets that we had to get together in one. And so that was really essential for the business.
A monumental process, which kind of tied into you, Crystal. So I'd like to ask you the next question here. I know that you were a part of this process, and I know that we had several territory owners with multiple territories attached to each of those territory owners. Tell me, how were you able to support Erin's efforts to get these accounts under the client's corporate management, and how did you coordinate that across several different territory owners?
Honestly, Erin actually had a really strong foundation, so when I came in to support, help bring structure around what her existing process was. So I helped simplify communication, keep things organized in a doc, and make sure each owner had a clear path to follow. Ended up being a good balance with Erin and I.
Awesome. That's great. We'll keep it with you here. Over the years, you've been kind of known with several of our clients as the process queen. Can you kind of walk me through or talk to me about your process when we start partnerships with these larger accounts and how you work with these clients and their key stakeholders to develop easy to follow processes? And maybe even how you guys work together on creating some of these processes.
Yeah. So for me, it starts with clarity. Even if something's already working, there's always room for growth and opportunities to increase, simplify processes, and make things repeatable, especially in the case of 80 plus territories. So I'll take what's been built, pressure test it, sit and maybe make small groups to start with to see what works and what doesn't work, and go from there with improving the processes. And once it's working, then we just implement it. And
Great. Erin, I want to hand it back over to you. Getting back to this kind of the meta challenge that we ran into with this particular client, and frankly with a lot of our clients, because it seems like we as an agency are starting to see this more and more. When it comes to gaining and maintaining corporate control over these social media accounts, what resources would you recommend to kind of these corporate marketing staff and these leadership level managers when it comes to troubleshooting things like getting social media account access and billing account setup and lost access, etc.?
Yeah, so a lot of the good resources would be within Facebook itself. So there's a business resource that's kind of like an FAQ style. There's also, if you're kind of troubleshooting on your own, I found a lot of success within Reddit subreddits, where you can find a lot of people with similar issues that kind of walk through different problems. And also another perk of having a Meta Business Suite is you typically have access to Meta support help, where you can get on the line with somebody, either phone call or chat, with a Meta support individual that can help you with your direct question. A lot of the times, actually, in the past, we've helped a lot of our clients gain access back to a lot of their Facebook assets through support chat. I think that's a really good feature that we can provide to our clients, is that service of Meta support, because we basically can go online and speak with the Meta support individuals for our clients on behalf of them and get them back their assets. So like that can be revolutionary when you basically don't have access to post on your Facebook page that has 2,000 followers. A bunch of posts, bunch of history. You don't want to lose that like valuable Facebook asset. A great resource is Meta support as well.
Yeah, I think you even did that for our agency too.
Yes, and that was like my first thing when I got hired. I'm like, hey, let me fix this. First step.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I know you've been very successful in helping several of our customers regain access to accounts that maybe they didn't set up, but had, maybe thousands of followers on these accounts, and the business owner was very frustrated with that. So very good advice. Next question I have for you. We as an agency have seen an accelerated adoption of social media as a lead generation channel for many of our clients in the past few years. What do you think is the most important factor for a business owner or a business leader to consider when it comes to starting to tap social media channels like Facebook and Instagram for lead generation for their business?
Yeah, so lead generation, you can find great success with a lot of the paid avenues through Meta, but something that can be kind of missed sometimes is just the importance of organic presence. That means basically, do you have your profile set up with trust signals, meaning like your logo as your profile image, you have authentic posts of your team, of what you're doing, various stuff, and it's free to post anything online. So that's kind of a great avenue to build that trust with your community, with your clients and customers. So they kind of work, paid and organic work together, where if you, for example, just do a bunch of paid stuff, but a potential customer finds your ad and then goes to your profile through your ad, and it's kind of has some red flags, it doesn't really have a presence, no profile image, kind of no post kind of thing, then you could immediately lose that potential client. So I think that's something that any business owner can really do, is you don't have to like make a whole giant content plan. It's sort of like just making sure you hit the marks with your profile image, your bio, saying where you are, what you do, who you are, your values, whatever you want to share. And once you build that, then that actually is a free way to boost your lead gen, because it just adds that trust signals that a lot of customers are looking for, since so many people are online these days, and that is where a lot of potential customers lie. So it'll just kind of work together in that way.
I would agree with that, because obviously it's very important, and I think the term is social proof, to be able to allow somebody to take a look at not only the ad itself that we're serving them, but that particular asset, whether it's Facebook or Instagram, to see that you're active, that you're posting on a regular basis, that you're a real company in their real local area that provides us as a real service, can go a long ways to building that trust and moving that as closer towards a viable lead for your business. So I know you spend a lot of your time walking our customers, especially during the onboarding process with our new customers, of walking them through tech stack integrations. Understand that a lot of our customers are not super tech savvy. Can you help me understand how you typically provide technical support to these clients and their employees to make these mega transitions the least painful as possible?
Yeah, what I typically do will walk myself through the account and set up a step-by-step to the specific accounts that I'm working with, so that they can follow along. Very simple. I do it in phases so that they can walk through. I also offer two options. One is to use the self-guide, or to schedule a 15-minute call with me, and I can be able to, they can share their screen, or I can share my screen and walk them through what issues they're having or technical difficulties. And then, go from there.
Final question for each of you. Onboarding a new client and franchise with this many territories and business owners is a small feat in itself, and we did this in a very short timeline, and it included all the teams here at City Ranked. That being said, I always like to find out what everybody learned doing a big project and what we can carry forward as an agency to future builds and future clients that we partner with. Can you tell me with this particular project what your biggest challenge was and how did you solve it?
Yeah, so I'd say the biggest challenge definitely was just the amount of meta assets that we had to track down. And that basically just took a lot of communication and patience in troubleshooting to successfully get them all under one roof. Something that we also did that I think was beneficial was to empower our clients to also understand what we're doing as well, and empower them to be able to do it themselves was a really big part of it. We're showing our client kind of like the ins and outs of Meta Business Suite and how you would add pages and remove pages and this and that, which Crystal was really helpful in the organization of it as well, just keeping track because it's just so much information. But empowering them to do that was, I saw, super beneficial, just because they could just understand what was needed. And I think going into the future with something like that, empowering your client to understand how Meta Business Suite works is monumental, because it's just, in our internet age, everybody's online, and just understanding how to do the things you need to do in the back end of business ownership and asset ownership is just, it just makes you set up for success for the future a lot better.
Great.
Yeah.
Final question for you. Onboarding this new franchise, and frankly any larger client that comes over to City Ranked, I always like to find out what's one thing that you take away from their project that you'll be able to implement with our clients going forward. What do you think that you learned and will carry forward as a best practice as a result of this project?
I like to lean into what's already working, and then, you don't have to start from scratch. You can build on what is already pre-existing and then just turn it into a process. I think that's the biggest impact, is stepping in and refining what is working, what isn't working, and then roll it out to where it's a simple process across the board.
Excellent. Well, I thank you both for your time today.